Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakodash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the word ignorantly calls God, and his name in Hebrew means he exists. And Yahushai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and his name in Hebrew means he is deliverer. By Hashem is in the name of Kakodash, the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well, peace, and blessings unto the shogunless push forth in the truth. Throughout the four corners of the earth, I want to say shalom to you brothers and keep pushing, and a double shalom unto the Israelites that's look like the other nations that are sure with you. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters as well. My name is Dewar from G-Mesh Line St. Louis Camp, and I'll come back at it with another video. And in this video, I'm entitled as Transgender Peruvians Declared Mentally Ill Under New Government Policy. Okay, so we all know what a transgender is, speaking in code, is basically a woman or a man that decides to change what they were born into the opposite sex. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop into this article, and I'm going to pull some precepts and Lord willing, this is edifying. So, and it reads, the announcement from Peru's government that transgender identities will be treated as mental health problems under a new health insurance classification arrived with the level of force that many in the country are not prepared for. What began as a technical adjustment to the National Insurance Registry immediately grew into a national flashpoint because it reintroduced language that global health authorities rejected years ago. The decree signed by President Dina Boluarte and published on May 10th added terms such as transsexualism, gender identity disorders, and cross-dressing to the list of insurable mental health conditions. This move landed at a moment when international organizations, including the World Health Organization, have already made it clear that gender identity is not a disease and should not be treated as one here, right? For many Peruvians, especially those within the LGBT community, the shock was not simply in the policy itself, but in the feeling that the country had abruptly reversed social and medical progress. And they did. As the initial news circulated, the uncertainty quickly shifted into mobilization. Advocates pointing to the WHO's 2019 shift that moved all gender identity-related labels out of the category of mental and behavioral disorders and into a broader classification related to sexual health. The WHO stated that this change reflects current knowledge that trans-related and gender-diverse identities are not conditions of mental health, and that the classifying them as such can cause enormous stigma, right? For many in Peru, the contradiction between this global standard and decree was impossible to ignore. The resulting public conversation has become an intense mix of fear, anger, and determination, pulling national attention toward the deeper question of whose dignity a government is willing to protect, right? So I'm not gonna read the rest of the article, right? So you got the wave of protest, and it was actually a video. This is it right here, but I'm not gonna play it because it's in Spanish, for my Spanish speaking brothers out there. I'm gonna learn that language one day. We might be probably in the kingdom before then, but But Khan says within hours of the ministry's follow-up statement, more than 60 LGBTQ organizations coordinated a protest outside the ministry headquarters in Lima. The timing was significant because it aligned with the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, Biphobia on May 17th, a date already dedicated to challenging discrimination and asserting the dignity of LGBT communities, right? And there is no dignity of doing sodomy acts. You know, there is no benefit. That whole lifestyle is against nature, okay, and it's against the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai. I mean, literally. Right? Reactions from abroad and broader political impact. International concern quickly followed. In the United States, Representative Robert Garcia offered one of the strongest official responses as both a gay man and the first Peruvian American to serve in Congress. He stated that he will be working with the State Department to push on this direct attack on LGBTQ plus Peruvians and argue that the measure moves Peru backward. It's like, yeah, right, nigga. Okay. The American Psychiatric Association's long-standing terminology also came under renewed attention. Since 2013, the APA has used gender dysphoria instead of gender identity disorder, recognizing that the emotional distress some individual experience is not caused by that identity itself, but by difficulties in social acceptance or access to affirming care. Right? In which, that's a part of it, you know. You got people that's not comfortable in their own skin. Okay, so they decide, hey, I'm finna just change my sex. I'm finna become a woman instead of becoming a man, or vice versa. You know? And yeah. And it's crazy, you know, how far that we done came in the world where doing the right thing is considered evil now. You know? And that's how you know the society is backward. Talking about some, that Sodomite, Peruvian, Northern Kingdom. Talking about some, that's going to set society backwards. Like, nah. Like, the way our society is going now, you know, the world is going down with this whole agenda that's against the nuclear family, you know, particularly the Israelites, you know, that's setting us backwards. Because every single captivity and kingdom, they done did the same thing that all the rest of the other kingdoms have done. All right, turn my brightness down on my phone. Right, they done did the same thing. Okay, and what is that? They done put women in seats of authority, strike one. They done made sodomy legal, strike two. Okay, and the financial systems have failed, strike three. Okay, so what else is left for this kingdom is destruction. The same way how those ancient kingdoms were destroyed, the same way how these modern day kingdoms are about to get ready to be destroyed. Okay, America is about to be destroyed. You know, not just America, you got other places that's going to be destroyed too. You got different parts of Europe that's going to get hit with missiles because, you know, you got brothers there. You got brothers there that push the word, okay? And, some of those brothers are part of the elect. So meaning that they're going to suffer persecution as well. Okay, persecution, and those places are going to get hit with missiles as well, because America is just an extension of Britain, the bottomless pit, according to the Holy Scriptures. You know, that's the whore that came out of the bottomless pit. All right. So anyway, so this is 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, right? But saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, right? And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds, right? So Sodom and Gomorrah was made an example unto those that should live ungodly. Okay, which we're gonna get that in a minute, right? Because they a bunch of city full of sodomites. Whether you are just a regular sodomite, or you a sodomite that want to dress as a woman, or a sodomite that want to dress as a man, is all different levels to wickedness. Just like it's different levels to righteousness, it's different levels to wickedness, man. Okay, it says. Verse 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished, right? So that's what the Lord is doing with these modern day sodomites and these modern day witches, warlocks, uh, these murderers, gangsters, thugs, whores, okay? Because sodomy and whoredom go hand in hand, okay? And a lot of you women, you lay down with sodomites, got what you call the lavender relationship. You women are nasty, man. Nasty. Now, why in the hell would you want something like that going up inside you? Right? And you gotta get what y'all deserve. And that's what? Disease. Herpes, HIV. And it was even an article that came out a few years ago saying that the shit's so bad now. You got fucking gonorrhea and what else? Chlamydia. That shit is mutating now, and it's getting more immune to the fucking antibiotics. Okay, now how wicked do you got to be? And even though we got quote unquote modern medicine and all that, right? Basically penicillin to get rid of any type of bacterial infection that's in your body. You know, that's not going to negate the fact that you people are wicked and that these diseases still exist. Okay, that's why these diseases exist. It's because of sodomites. You got whores. Okay, that causes diseases. Okay, it says, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh and the lust of uncleanness, they are self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Right. So and this goes into all the characteristics of you sodomites, man. You know? Like somebody like Alazar, who is a sodomite. Deuteronomy 23:17. And it reads, there should be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Right? So and this is in the law. So these two things then basically done ruin our whole nation. So you got whores and you got sodomites, whores and, single women. It's just, single women households is just a breeding ground for wickedness to happen. Whores and sodomites to come out of that. All right. Deuteronomy 23 and I think it's like 25, 22 and 5. Slacky. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Right? So you're not supposed, you women, you're not even supposed to be wearing pants. You know? And most definitely, you're most definitely not supposed to be wearing no goddamn dresses. You know? Like, here it is, you got a damn dress on with a damn beard, you know, or you had those people that was in New Orleans that had that red dress parade. Everybody in fucking dresses, you know, big ass niggas with muscles and shit. Down there in fucking dresses. Shit is crazy. Romans 1, and I'm going to start at 21. It says, because that, it's like you. Salakia. Start over. Because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh. Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations. And their foolish heart was darkened, right? Darkened. Because you sodomites, you got a real dark countenance on you. You know? Even though y'all like to play all bubbly and all that, and like y'all so happy, y'all really dark. Verse 2, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to a corruptible man, and the birds and the four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever, amen. Right? So kind. Verse 26, for this cause Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women they had changed the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the man, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves their recompense of their error which was meat. Right? So kind. So yeah, vile affections. You know? Like what the hell? Like why in the hell would a grown ass man be attracted to another man? You know? So yeah, obviously that's some type of mental disorder. Because that's not the way how the Most High intended for it to be. You know, for you to lay with a woman. Okay? A woman has a vagina. Okay? So here it is. You rather stick your rod up a rectum instead of in a woman. You know? That's crazy. That shit off. So let's go to Genesis, the 19th chapter. Start at 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot seeing them rose up to meet him, and he bowed himself excuse me, towards the ground. And he said, behold, now my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall arise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did break unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they laid down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round both old and young, and the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto them, Where are the men that came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. Right? So basically have sex with them. And yeah, Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and ye do to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore they came under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. Right? Yeah, kind. So that's the type of town. That's the type of town that they were on. You know, they were on that time to commit sodomy. All right. And yeah, it's wicked, man. It's wicked as hell. Wanted to sleep with angels. And you know what the Lord did unto Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay. So kind. But yeah, but this is good for Peru though, man. And pretty soon, you know, all this wickedness is gonna be a thing of the past. Okay? It's all gonna be gone. Shalom.